Any other questions?
So once you get the bachelor or accepted as a bachelor finalist or as a bachelor scholar, what other things does the bachelor require you to do, and do you enjoy them whatsoever?
So this is awesome, but this isn't something you're required to do, but Bachelor is associated with TEDx in Colorado. They're one of the sponsors. So I just went to a TEDx event on Thursday that was free for me, and I learned to beatbox. But that was an adventure. That was a TEDx adventure. But you've also got TEDx events like June 22nd. There's a TEDx event that's free, and there are going to be, I think, 20 speakers all focused on humankind, and you get to go for free. So that's not something you're required to do, but there are lots of perks in terms of the community outside of just the schools, to where Bachelor is involved with all of these community aspects around the state of Colorado that are huge bonuses, and I don't see how you could miss up on some of these things.
I think we need a beatboxing demonstration.
But maybe I have not been practicing.
After the Q&A panel. This off again.
After the panel.
After the panel. Is this one still on? Yes.
Okay, there we go. So actual, on paper, what you're required to do to keep the scholarship after getting it is you need to maintain I believe it's a 3.0 GPA.
It's 3.0 with fluctuations. So if you drop below a 3.0, you have
One
quarterly
semester?
check-ins.
Yeah.
And then if you drop below a 2.0, that's
Concerning.
you guys won't do that, so you don't have to worry about it.
And then you are required to go to, as a incoming freshman, you're required to go to the freshman orientation event, which that's currently being planned by whoever's interning at the Better Foundation. And then you're required to submit a yearly, check-in type thing to the Better Foundation, which, I'm gonna be honest, you can have a lot of fun with. I have submitted mine in the past as a bunch of limericks and a bunch of sonnets. So it's a pretty reasonable writing assignment that's just what have you done this year, what have you learned, how have you changed as a person. Overall, those are pretty much all the requirements that are required to keep your scholarship. And then depending on what school you go to, the individual groups of Venture Scholars at those schools will have volunteering event requirements, possibly, or social events.
And then just beyond that, to go with freshman orientation, after that, every year following that, you go back for Scholars Weekend, which is, this last year it was in Estes Park. The year before that, it was at a hotel in Denver. But it's 3 days for freshmen, 2 days for everyone else. And you just basically go to workshops with your class, and so they bring in speakers, and then you just have time to socialize across the years, because once you have the scholarship, you don't really get to see many scholars from other schools. So it's a great way to reconnect, and so that's something that I believe your sophomore and junior year is required unless you have extenuating circumstances, and then your senior year you can come back to that as well if you want to. But that's my absolute favorite thing that we do, just because you get to reconnect, but you also gain a lot of leadership experience just from the workshops, and it's just a great way to see everyone and catch back up with the foundation, and also with all the other scholars that you'll meet at orientation and then don't really get to see throughout the year. And then we also have, my other favorite event is the Better Scholar Holiday Party, which is held at the Better Mansion in Denver, which is the governor's residence. And they have the best apple cider I've ever drank in my entire life. And it's just I think 2-hour event, and you just get to hang out again with everyone. Everyone gets all dressed up, and we do a toy drive to go with that. And so that's just a great way to give back to the community, and then also just catch up with scholars at other schools. So.
So I was supposed to talk about this earlier and I forgot. So we also do a service event, just within our Betchers. Our one that happens every year is we help out with the toy drive for the children's hospital. So it's actually the Harley Davidson toy drive, and one of the coolest things is watching all these bikers decked out in leather and Santa hats, bringing giant bags of toys to the children's hospital. And so we help with that. We sing carols, even though this year they played music, so apparently our singing wasn't that great in past years or something. But then we get to help sort all of the toys, and it just really is kind of one of those, like, you kind of get to see, like, instant gratification on seeing little kids. One of my favorite was this little girl walked up and she was dressed like head to toe like Elsa from Frozen, and she came up and she was like, "Do you guys know any Frozen songs?" And so we all did look up lyrics on our phones, but you can bet we sang Frozen for that little girl. But that's one of the events we do every year, and then there's also some other service events that are usually coordinated through. So if you guys have an organization, if you do end up coming to Minds, or even no matter where you guys end up, if you guys have an organization that you work with and that you're passionate about, bring that up to your Betcher board, and you can still stay involved with that organization and have a little bit of Betcher funding behind it to kind of help out with that.
Does anybody want to quickly comment on service you've done at Betcher? So I know that Daniel, you were an intern at the Betcher Foundation.
Yeah, I can talk about that. Okay, is this
Gonna work? Yeah, it still works. Mike's with a sleep function. So I interned with the Betcher Foundation over the summer, 2 summers ago. Ooh, wow, a while ago. And so basically the work I did was I kind of applied it to my computer science and math background. I helped manage the database of Betcher scholars.
It is done.
Okay, it is dying. So I help manage their database, keeping alumni addresses and contact information updated. And then I also did a survey of the state of Colorado and the Betcher applicant pool to make sure that the Betchers were representative of the state of Colorado, and to give the foundation advice on where to send ambassadors to make sure that they were recruiting students from all across the state. And then I also helped plan the Scholars Weekend and Scholar Orientation and do the programming for that. So it was definitely a very cool experience. And then there are other internship opportunities at the Betcher Foundation. I know that they have an intern for their accounting and business side. And then they also have some additional internships that are more specialized that only come up on occasion. But yeah, it's kind of important, and the Betcher does need help, especially in the spring when they're making like packets for all of the finalists and stuff, and then like running finalist visit day, or the finalist visit days and everything, and keeping that organized. So yeah.
Just to accent on the fact that you can come in and help with the packets. This year, they sent a message out to all of the current Betchers where you could come in just for the day and volunteer to sort the files. So I went in and sorted all the files, just me, with to get the semifinalists files all sorted. And it's just random to anybody in the Betcher community, so you can still help out even though you're not necessarily an intern.
So I'm actually like an officially Betcher trained, I was completely the wrong word, ambassador. So what they'll do, if you guys are interested in this, if you really want to give back to your high school community, your county that you came from, anything like that, you can get in contact with the foundation, and they'll set up a training for you to be able to go back to a high school or go to any other event and give a presentation about the scholarship. It's a really great way to give back. I know that I've done it for a couple of programs that I've run through the summer, and just a really great way to get awareness out there. I know that I come from an area where I came from a super small town, and so there just wasn't a whole lot of awareness of what the scholarship was, like what a great program it is, all the ways that it can help out in the community. So.
Yeah, so I asked some of you the question, but what did you struggle with most